Hey everyone, welcome to Pop XP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the Pop XP channel. Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here, Nile Scala with Pop XP. We have another exciting episode for you guys. And you know what? Sometimes when you're working hard, you need to sit back, relax, crack open a cold one, and get ready for a happy hour. And I have to tell you, we have an amazing guest tonight. And at first, I'd like to introduce everyone to Billy's Chair. Hey, Billy's Chair, how are you doing?
Freaking
wow, Billy's Chair.
Scala, I'm having a heck of a day, buddy. A heck of a day.
Oh, you have?
Oh, my God.
I just had to make sure I gave the chair an introduction. An introduction, everyone. But Tucci, bro, and that storm, holy smokes.
Yeah, it wasn't even that bad of a storm.
What'd you do to piss off Mother Nature?
With a tornado, though. I'm trying to get my my displays set up.
I think we're good, bro. I'm good. And you know what?
Yeah, I know. You're good. I have to.
We've got an amazing show. We have an amazing guest. Our first guest.
The best guest. Our first guest.
Probably I think we've probably had him on the most. Like if this was a talk show, he would be going in for his jacket soon. We're gonna get that velvet jacket.
I know.
The Pop XP Coffin Comics smoking jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Silky smooth, just like the comics they produce.
Yes. All right.
Let's bring him in.
Let's bring him in. The one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the king of Kickstarter. The Doctor of Doom.
Yes.
What do we say? What a crazy day.
The fulfillment masters of fire, Mr. Brian Pulido.
Let's do this, people.
Yes.
What are you people doing? Crazy Friday night. It's happy hour. I don't care how you enjoy happy hour. If it's libations, if it's alcohol, if it's a soft drink, if it's a fruit drink, if it's a soda, get it. Because we're about to buckle down and get to it. Thank you for having me, guys.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to have you on, man. Your energy, your products, what you're doing. I mean, it's a blast to have you on.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I like that idea you guys were talking about that. Sort of like Saturday Night Live. Once you host it 5 times, you get your jacket. So I'm getting there.
Oh, yes, yes. You know, and I think once we start hosting the Coffin Comics Cardio Hour, I think that's when you will definitely earn that jacket.
That's what I was saying. Coffin Cardio. That's our new show.
Nice.
Pop XP Pilates.
Well, I'm going to ask you, Brian. I'll ask you after the show. A favor. We have a new show on the Pop XP our channel starting later on this month. Yes. And it's something that I think you would be perfect for. We'd love for you to join a fellowship, a little roundtable discussion, and I can talk about it live. I don't know if you can commit. The first show, I think, is Friday, the 28th of August. So are you free that day?
I think I'm free. It's a familiar day. What's the subject? Is it legal?
No. Mr. Tucci, keep talking. We can hear you.
We could totally hear you.
I believe what it is, Brian, is that we're going to be hosting, it's drinks and cigars. They're welcome. It's obviously not rated for kids, so we'll have that on the show. But we're going to be talking through the years of cinema.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And to start off, I believe it's going to be the decades of horror cinema. And if I'm correct, and I'll get more details, I think they're going to go.
Don't mind me, just let them roll.
Like
Let's
the
roll
20s,
with
30s, 40s. Am I right, Billy? Is it broken up through decades of horror? Yes, Niall, that's exactly what it is. Oh, perfect. So anyways, Brian, we've got Billy with some technical difficulties, but let's get into this because you are crushing this campaign. And if you don't mind, I got to pop it up here because you are just 2 days into this campaign. You're just about to break 1,500 backers.
I love it.
And the numbers are phenomenal here. I mean, tell us, man, how does it feel going into this Kickstarter?
Whenever we go into a Kickstarter, I'm sort of holding my breath. I'm kind of nervous. I never know. Even though this is the 20th crowdfunding, 21st crowdfunding project. I hold my breath, but I got to tell you, the fiends, the sworn, and last time we checked, about 50 new people who've never backed a campaign before have backed this campaign. So it feels remarkable, and I always feel humbled, blessed, and very, very grateful, because it's super clear to me that it's really the crowd that makes us Coffin Comics.
Yeah.
I mean, we do our best. I think we wear our hard work on our sleeves, but really it's the people showing up and choosing to show up fast and like loud and no shame in their people just getting into it real fast. So it feels remarkable.
Awesome. And now, last time we spoke to you, it was kind of at the start of the pandemic, right?
Yes.
And kind of, I think we were talking, you joined us for a show. We were talking about conventions and things and that.
Yes.
But I mean, for you as a creator, obviously you supply great entertainment. What have you seen as a creator with the pandemic? Has it been good for you, bad for you, in between?
Well, it's interesting. Probably like a lot of folks, we've gone through a lot of different emotions during this time. I remember when it first became national and really across our country towards the late March. It was a very solemn time, and it was so much of it was unknown. So I remember even us as a company, what we did was we went into that everyone working from a distance. Our warehouse staff, our core warehouse staff is a family, so they were easy. It was easy for them to come in. Then our state got ordered for the quote unquote shutdown, but that did not apply to our business because our business is not front facing. And most of our print partners are signatory to the government itself. So they were considered essential and they kept going. Now, conversely, we hold our breath every day, but what we have found is that people are ordering more comics than ever. It's truly remarkable. It's stunning, in fact. We've hired more people in the warehouse, and things are just cranking in. So we're doing what we're supposed to be doing here in Arizona when we're doing social distancing, wearing masks outside. Inside, effectively, our staff, we wear masks, or essentially we all live in an island called Coffin Comics, so we have limited exposure out in the world. So in an odd way, the pandemic has really allowed us to focus even more on what it is that we do. It's allowed me as a creator to get up to a year ahead of our current publishing schedule. And the whole time, it's probably like similar for everybody. It's very hair-raising, very intense, and there's a lot of ups and downs, and we see the triumphs and tragedies for everybody across our country. So makes it super challenging. But the actual impact right now for Coffin is strangely been positive. Sales are up. People seem to be real happy. And I'm giving you a long answer, but what we've taken on is the premise that we want to provide some fun, some joy, some excitement during this otherwise very, very challenging time.
Yeah, no, that's great. And then, one more question on this before we dive into Treacherous Infamy #1 is with kind of like the shutdown of everything. I've seen a lot of creators starting to get into the crowdfunding or researching, being the godfather that you are, the one that we all look up to for cracking the code. Have a lot of creators reached out? You don't have to give names. Have a lot of creators reached out to you?
Well, it's funny that you should say that, but I would say the answer is yes. And a lot of creators, a lot of peers, a lot of cold calls, but really fascinating, a lot of actually large businesses I've consulted with as well. So behind the scenes, I'm not going to name names, but I have confidential business relationships with a multitude of bigger businesses who are looking at this space as well.
Awesome. That's great. Well, I tell you what, man. Well, that's awesome to know, and how you're growing like that. And you do seem very generous with kind of helping out when you can with some new people, which is awesome. So definitely want to thank you there, and for all the smaller creators like myself. But I mean, most important, man, and you guys do this and you do it well. Let's dive into this campaign. What do we have here with Treacherous Infamy #1?
Well, I'm going to get right into it before I answer Fly Fox Pro. Does Pulido always wear that vest? I got to tell you, when I wake up, I put my vest on with my coffee. But, Yeah, I'm mostly wearing my vest when you see me as Brian Coffin Comics. Absolutely. Let's see. It's had 2 effects on comic book industry. Yeah. Time of dying. That's absolutely right. Yeah, exactly. Either shut down or double down. Well, look, Treacherous Infamy is the 12th chapter in Lady Death's Undead Life at Coffin Comics. And I'll show you the cover. So this is the cover. And right now what you see is a green logo. This actually, because of a free bonus, something we formerly called stretch goal, that's actually now silver foil. Generally speaking, for those of you who don't know, a Coffin Comics Kickstarter comic is a 48-page chapter. It's actually square bound, European square bound, and features 48 pages. That might be anywhere from 43 to 56 pages of story and art. So Treacherous Infamy will be very similar. And that's the base story. However, if you take a look behind me, you will notice that we offer a multitude of editions. And the reason why I offer the multitude of editions is I noticed that different people, Demon Phil, Sworn, Lee, my man, what's up? Out there in the wilds of Arizona, Lee Ditworth. The reason why we do it is folks seem to like to follow the different editions. Some people are fans of jeweled editions or metal editions. We introduce cosplay editions, so we give people that option. The other thing that we love to do is to add these free bonuses. We formerly call them stretch goals. And so far on this campaign, I think we've unlocked 16. 16 of our free bonuses actually include 3 additional comic books. 3 additional comic books. So the first of the 3 is called Lady Death Masters David Harrigan. David Harrigan is a frequent contributor to Coffin Comics. David has contributed over 100 covers, and David and I curated this. And inside, they're actually a full-size 32-page comic book, comes with any physical order. What you're looking at here, though, is a mock-up, nothing inside. So that, because people adore this too, we have Lady Death Treacherous Infamy Black and White edition. And inside this is 24 pages of unadulterated Diego Bernard goodness and artwork. But that's not all. This time we just introduced the Lady Death Little Naughty
What?
book.
No way.
The comic book is 2.5 inches times 3.5 inches. It's 16 pages of naughty-themed artwork by Dawn McTague, Lias Chatsoudis, Mike DiBalfo. This cover is by Anthony Spey. But that's not all. I do not have mock-ups for them, but we also reintroduced Pogs. So we've already unlocked 3 Pogs.
Wait.
Pogs.
Pogs. This is the second time I have seen Pogs now in a campaign. Do you know something we don't know?
I just go by feel, Nile. So let me, back in the 90s, Coffin Comics did Pogs.
What?
Let it rain, Pogs, baby.
Yes. Let the Pogs rain.
That's what I'm saying.
Are these new Pogs or are these like new old stock?
Well, this is literally new old stock. But
man.
The new Pogs that we're doing are brand new, featuring art by who's who. So yeah, we just got that vibe. We had to do the Pogs, that cool little miniature comic.
That's crazy.
You know, I mean, I think most people, if you don't know me, I am a comic book fan, an active comic book collector, and very joyous about my comics collection. And one of my collections are actually mini comic books. And I just couldn't resist. So this time around, anyone who is a backer of any physical reward on our Kickstarter gets those comic books we showed, including the Lady Death Little Naughty mini comic book.
That's incredible.
Ooh. Yeah. Let's see here. TJ James, what are you saying, my man? Let me see here. I got to put on these.
I hear you.
TJ, yeah, man. I mean, why wouldn't you respect your audience? It's pretty clear to me. It's just so much fun. Candace is like, oh my God. That's why we're pogging it up.
I'm a late 80s kid. Yours. So Robert Hickey,
Oh, sure, Rob. I know Rob.
Yeah.
He was like, it was funny because he had posted in the comments, and I think it's actually at the top of here because it came through the Facebook. He's like, tell Brian I put Pogs in mine first.
He did.
Oh man, that's such a great thing. I told Billy, I said, you got to do Pogs.
I'll do Pogs next time.
Pardon me?
I'll do Pogs next time. Can you guys hear me?
I mean, a little piece of business here. I got to tell you, making Pogs is not as cheap as I hoped it would be.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe not.
The bonuses, you kind of want them to be cool but inexpensive. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going on a limb a little here on Pogs. Because maybe back in the 90s, there were 1 million people who used to make them. In the United States, there's probably like 3 printers. And when I actually quoted them actually in China, by the time they were shipped, it's like it's all a wash. So, yeah. So Coffee Comics TV, it says they want to know if your Kirk Hammett is your brother. Well, there was that I actually was in Metallica for a while, and then let Kirk Hammett. But now, like since the pandemic, I'm sort of just letting it see what it'll do again.
I dig it, man. It's awesome. Can you guys hear me well enough?
Yeah, you're perfect, man.
All right, I apologize, Brian. Yeah, Brian and Nile, I'm so sorry, Brian. I had to move down to my den. I have no internet upstairs.
Billy, let me complete with you. Here's the thing. You got to get this. I fucking love you, dude. So I kind of don't care, whatever. Okay? You know, I forgive you for everything for all time. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I know. It's just Nile and I tested it today and it was fine. And then we're going on and someone was saying, "Oh, we were having problems with outages." And of course we did. And I had to break down. I had the whole studio. You know, that studio is all set up with the Blevins Media Center. Sure. But I got this piece of shit PC that I spent $600 on, and it's garbage. And a buddy of mine's helping me out with it. He's like, "Oh, you need this," and I'm seeing right now that I kind of really don't. And so I think I'll be coming for the next 2 weeks until we could switch over to FiOS from our.
Well, it's better because you got the samurai armor behind you.
Oh yeah, I got my armor. Yeah, I got my samurai. I got my Senryaku #2 original art.
There you go.
Yeah, I got my deer.
I kind of like it. I thought you just changed the set. I saw someone up there just mentioned that they needed a slammer, and I'd like to point out that the Coffee Comics Challenge coin works great as a slammer. So a slammer, it's part of the whole milk cap game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people have been saying, "Are you going to make a slammer?"
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Let's use the coin as a slammer.
It's so
perfect.
Excited I get over. It's just cool. It's that nostalgia, man, of being the early 90s. Late 80s, early 90s, having all that crap. But I mean, you've got a whole behind you, man. What else what other goodies are in your bag?
Well, what I also noticed that Time of Dying just noticed that we just made an announcement less than an hour ago. So we made this Lady Death sculpted edition cover by Ken Lashley. And we're not offering it for sale. All you need to do is to be a backer of our campaign and back a physical reward. That would make you automatically eligible to be one of the 10 backers who are going to receive one of these for free. But you got to be in it to win it, people.
Wow, so someone can get just a regular standard graphic novel, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like our general quote unquote premiere edition.
Yeah.
$26, free US shipping. Free digital download, optional Brian Pulido signature. That's physical. So that makes you eligible for all the free bonuses we're already talking about. And then it puts you right in there to possibly receive. There's Paul Jenkins. What's up?
What up, Paul Jenkins? Dude, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. So there's only 10 of those made. And everyone who is a physical backer is got their I guess their little ticket in the pot. So
and this is we're actually going to, when we start the shipping process in early November, we're just going to tip 10 of those in. So if the overall edition is 13, we're tipping in 10. We keep several for publisher file. We always do.
Yeah, and I saw some of your other things like earlier today when you were live. You have some one-offs. There's the one of a kind that you're going to give someone like.
Well, I mean, we have some pretty crazy stuff. Let me see if what we have that's one of a kind. I mean, again, the sculpture, this is crazy, limited to 13 copies. You know, it's so funny. I'm always reluctant to do one of a kind because as publisher, I always keep the copy. For some reason, I'm just obsessed with documenting what we did.
Yeah.
So
now, do you add that into the museum you have?
yeah, we're actually in the museum, but it's been quote unquote reskinned. Yeah. So yeah, we actually, since this whole year, we've been adding a lot of neat stuff. So you just saw those Pogs. I hadn't had those forever, but I found a new old stock. But yeah, we definitely add a lot of neat stuff throughout the year to our archive. But yeah, right now that's exactly where we are, but totally reskinned. In the background, you'll see the great Mike Mayhew art. Mm-hmm. Ready to go live a little bit. There's the great Mike Mayhew art for Treacherous Infamy. Some of the additions that we're offering. I think one of the cool things that we did here, Billy, is if you take a look over here, Walt Simonson did a Lady Death cover.
What?
Into a chick edition. Yup.
Wow.
Simons did.
He's such a great dude.
Dude.
Yeah, lovely guy.
That's insane.
Yeah, getting Walt to do that was pretty cool. I know that the way I market and promote it, it sort of confounds him. He's like, wait, you did 6 versions? I'm like, yeah, we did 6 versions. They're all limited to 66 a piece. And he's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, just go with it. But yeah, I mean, another thing that we do, Billy, is, and I think Jimmy could show you, is we do a mystery envelope. And this time our mystery envelope has a swimsuit theme. And there is an inordinate amount of editions. I just got totally carried away. There's 999 mystery envelopes, and we have 23 editions that are being offered in that envelope. It's crazy.
Oh my God. You know, you give away so much.
We do.
It's amazing.
It's pretty crazy.
and I love that you have this sworn army, you know, and I mean, my God, you've got you're 1 day in, you're a little over a day in, and you already got you have almost 1,500 backers already, and you've topped $237,000, almost $238,000.
It's remarkable.
This is so great. But I love how you always you spend a lot on the product itself. It's always the most premier formatted books out there, the best paper stock, the cover quality, and you throw so much back into the company, and you throw it back to the fans, to the Legion, you know, to the sworn Legion. And I think that's why they respond to you so insanely incredible. It's just.
Well, it is wild because as a legacy thing, we always ask for $15,000. And honestly, in this day and age, to produce these campaigns, it's past $100,000 for sure. No, plus, and no shame in my game. I'm fine. I realized long ago, like there was a time, Billy, you and I were publishing in the 90s, and then the 00s, I wasn't publishing. I was actually writing, and other people were doing it. And somewhere along the line, I just realized I just don't get that much joy out of just writing a script and turning it in. For me, it's super immersive. So I like writing the story. I like collaborating. I love the marketing element of it. John, thank you. I love this kind of carnival atmosphere. I have Jimmy Calabrese, one of my partners in crime here, and we both admire P.T. Barnum. It just harkens back to a different time, a small amount of showmanship, and this idea of doing these crazy things like the miniature comic books. I really do think it's part of the expression.
What is that? Wait a minute. Wait.
You missed that. You missed that. Yeah.
One of the bonuses we're giving away, Billy, is
what?
Is a miniature comic book called Lady Death Little Naughty. This is a 16-page brand new comic book.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was mentioning to Nile that I love collecting miniature comic books, so I had to do one. So yes, It's a crazy expression. All of it's kind of necessary. It's an inordinate amount of work, but it's kind of how I express myself to the world. And I'm very gratified that people show up and care about it.
Yeah, I mean, and it is cool because you are a visionary. I love that, like we're outlaws. You got John Malin's in, he's an outlaw. You got Paul Jenkins. I see, look, Mike McLean. I mean, we've got such a cool fellowship, of guys and gals who are just going on their own, putting together their own comics and literally being unleashed. Because I remember when I would do stuff for DC, say I was doing Sergeant Rock and all. And again, like I'm turning in the script and, that's it. That's all they want from you. And like, no, that's not enough. No, I want to. Well, here's all the reference, and then I'm like, well, I want to send out a press release, and they're like, you know,
because they're probably angry at you for wanting to do that.
Yeah, and they don't know how to promote. No one knows how to promote your stuff like you, you know, and you are a master at it. And I think where it really comes down to it is that people, and again, I was talking to Paul Jenkins about you, of how you inspired so many people. But what it is with you is that you're real. I mean, this is your real passion.
Yeah.
Is creating these books for your sworn army, your legion. You know, these people that love you and it shows in the books. I mean, you look at Mike's, you know, from Mike's scripts and everything, and from the art of the various tremendous artists that you've had. It's unbelievable. It's
thank you, man. It is a blessing. It's super. Look, this thing that we all do, it's kind of goofy. Comics, but you know what I always say about comics, and I learned this a long time ago. It's like I really didn't choose comics; comics chose me. Yeah, my interest in comics probably started long before I officially collected. So I started officially collecting, for sure, July 1974. That would have made me 11. But I know that I still was enjoying comics before then. I was going to like English Town auction or the flea markets and getting little comic book covers that were ripped off, and all the little tchotchkes that I add. I call them littles, and I happen to also like them very much too. So it is quite fun. And I definitely feel this is a neat era with crowdfunding, that we really can connect with people and that there isn't a middleman.
Yeah.
Sometimes having the middleman makes it difficult to do all the extra free stuff. Like if we had to just offer our premium styled chapter, you know, in this lush style, square bound, the gloss, the foil, and you know, if we do that wholesale, there's no way on earth we could add all the goodies, et cetera, et cetera. Or even in our case, we take shipping very seriously. So we put extra time, money, and effort into the shipping, the double checking. So yeah, it's just a really fun time, and we've been having a great time doing it.
Mm-hmm. I love that you do this stuff like almost like the 1960s with all the cool monster stuff that came out. Remember, like in the back of the comics or in Famous Monsters of Filmland?
Yeah,
they got all those great little things. Remember the little models, the hot rod models with Frankenstein and
those weirdo ones.
Yeah, and the comics
with Captain Company, and they would offer all that weird stuff. Whether it was like a 7-foot paper Frankenstein. Joe, thank you. I'd like to think, you know, it's funny because there is a lot of value. We do budgets before we launch any of this stuff. And then, you know, again, we took a look at the budget and we're like, do we do POGs? Do we not do POGs? Because it did send it over, but we're sort of like, you know, it's not like we're doing this to become millionaires. We're doing this because this is the expression. So, you know, Francisca got totally on board. She's like, we're totally doing POGs. So hence POGs, you know?
Well, you know, and another thing that people don't realize is that some people may say, oh, well, I can go into a comic shop and get a 48-page comic for $10, say, right? But it's not going to be on the paper quality that you have. It's not going to have the production values that you have. But not only that, you're getting a signed comic, right? Sure. Is $20 the lowest level for a physical copy of the comic?
Well, in this day and age, our entry level tier is 26, and that's because we build shipping costs into it.
Right. So that you get so the shipping's included for $26 because I pledged yesterday I pledged. As soon as I got my internet, it was for my birthday. I bought myself a birthday present.
Belated happy.
Thank you. And but you get a signed 48-page comic book. Then though, you get all those stretch goals.
Yeah.
You get all those. Now, how many stretch goals are you up to by now? Do you know? Or
well,
yes. Share it? Yeah.
Now, what we've done is we're transitioning out of using those words stretch goals, and we're now calling them free bonus. And the reason why we're doing that is the word stretch goal is kind of coded in a sense. And what we're trying to do is invite more people into the club who are unaware. And it's very easy for me to tell somebody, hey, you get this free bonus. It makes sense. Whereas stretch goal, it's a little cody. So we've been actually telling our culture this is exactly what we're doing, and we're encouraging people. However, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was your question? Hey,
how many stretch goal levels are you at?
I think we're at 16.
How many free bonuses? You're at 16 free bonuses on top of
it. Yeah, and here's some examples. A 32-page comic book, another 32-page comic book, a miniature comic book, 4 or 5 trading cards, campaign sticker, pogs. I don't even know. Yeah, but we have plans to keep going. So and here's the neat thing: our campaign really has just started, so we have more shenanigans and trickery to come for sure.
Yeah, so for $26, they'll get multiple free bonuses. I mean, this thing is a rocket ship. So it's
for $26, you will get each physical reward includes all unlocked free bonus, free US shipping, a free digital download of your book so you don't have to mess it up. Mm-hmm. And then free Pulido autograph and COA, which is optional. Some people like it, some people don't. So it's optional.
Well, Brian, I want to show you something interesting. Like we lost, for those of you that I'm sitting down here in my den right now, is that we had a storm came through 10 days ago or so.
Wow.
And it destroyed everything. I think we had twists. We're right near the water. So I think they were saying that there was cyclones or something, but it destroyed all the internet, all the power. We had no power for 10 days. No internet, no phone, no TV. Yeah, it was crazy. But what I did is I started reading again. Trying to go into because it gets dark at 9 o'clock, so I have no light. Yeah. But hey, I'll read on the porch, bro. Look what I read last week.
No way.
Yeah.
That's our humble beginnings. That was the That's awesome.
Just gorgeous. Just Brian wrote it. With you, it's just this art. And what I love about your books, too, is that all of your Lady Death stories, and it's a great story about hope and all, but the main character, but they're all epics. They're like, $200 million movies.
That's what we
armies and that hurt. Sorry. And just it's.
Well, you and I both have dabbled in filmmaking, and I know I have the hopes and dreams of, aspiring. And one thing I do adore about comics is you really don't have to worry about the budget. Yeah. So that being the case, we're like, definitely let's make this a $200 million movie in a 48-page comic book. Yeah, I get carried away with that. Everything to me is like the third act of Lord of the Rings, all the time.
Yeah.
War. I love it. I friggin' love it.
Well, I've said it many times. You won't be disappointed. From a Kaufman Comics book. I mean, the quality of the story, right, followed by the amazing artwork, the colors, the quality of the paper. I mean, just the quality of everything is just like I said. You broke the code, man. You broke the code.
Well, he's an outlaw and he's a trailblazer. He doesn't follow trends; he makes them.
Making my head really big.
Paul Jenkins says.
Yeah, see Paul Jenkins.
Yeah, he says, I just can't get over how much stuff you make, mate. We just started back up again, and I found it overwhelming. How on earth do you keep track?
It's really so. I am guilty of that, and I've heard that from a lot of my peer creators. But my background actually was in motion picture and film production, and back in the day, I worked as what's called an assistant director, and that's the person who orchestrates all the different crafts for the director to direct the film. And I think everything I learned about business, I learned on movie sets. And that one of the things I learned is supply chain and logistical management. So as we sit here today, every element of our campaign that you've seen is at the printer for pre-press, for review. So what I do is using nothing special, no special software, just, Google Docs, Word docs, Excel spreadsheets, just time everything back. And it's a blessing and a curse because this is another thing that I like to do is stretch myself every time. And I actually even warn our staff. I just tell people, I'm like, just get ready because this one's going to be a bit of a test. Yeah. But how we manage it is just exactly how we manage it. It's and it's part of the ridiculousness and excitement. And trust me, there comes a point, and this point happened about a week ago, where I asked myself, I'm like, what did I get myself into on this campaign? In terms of just the sheer amount of stuff that we're putting out there. The mystery envelope with 23 separate editions. And look, I am aided and abetted by a longtime graphic designer I've worked with, Mad Mike Flippin. We've been working together since 1992. And he's another one. He has an infinite capacity. I mean, Mike literally has a different full-time job. And he's the guy who builds all the books. And then another co-conspirator, Robert Zabowski, formerly known as Jetman, one of our graphic designers. And he's doing all the free bonus items, the advertising, all the graphics. And we have a great support staff too. The one and only Nick Napalm is aiding me in terms of editorial, writing all the physical books. Because to this day, guys, on top of us making all this stuff, like I literally am the guy giving the direction to the graphic designer, writing the inside stuff too, like all that crazy stuff. Again, and then right off camera here, I'm aided and abetted by another fellow madman, the one and only Jimmy Calabrese. I mean, I guess
Jimmy Coffin.
That's right, Jimmy Coffin. And I guess one thing that we learned a while ago is if we were going to play at an elite level, I mean, just the game that we want to play, like every player in our team has got to be ready to just be a G. Yeah. So we also hire people who are like ready to play this game. Mm-hmm. So, you know, again, so we don't have too many weak links over here too.
Yeah, no, you guys are like old soldiers, you know, and I love it. You're like warriors, every one of you, you know,
it's like getting us to close our doors at 5 o'clock every day when people come in, when they come in is tough because everybody wants to stay, do a little more. We're like, no, you got to close the door. You got to go develop other domains of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I love about that though, Brian, is like, even with me, is like once I started self-publishing it with the new She book, that's, you know, it's gone to press already. Thank God. But, what's that? Oh, thank you. Yeah, baby. Is that when you say at 5 o'clock the door closes, right? And you're like, wait a minute, it's 5 o'clock already? Mm-hmm. You know, because it just moves so lightning fast. And Nile has been designing our books for me and all, and I drive him crazy. And but I love how the day just goes because you're just in creator mode, and it's a battle. It's almost like you're on a, it's a battlefront, you know, and you feed off of that, you know. I mean, we've been great Roman centurion generals, I think. Mm-hmm.
Well, they say too, it's like, remember the Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance, when you kind of get in what they call flow.
Yeah.
And another thing that we believe in over here, and it's super old school, it's called the mastermind principle. So it's like, it's usually like 2 or more people all moving towards the same goal. So that'd be similar in sports, you know, for like a team that's trying to get to the playoffs. It's like you got to have a plan, and you all got to be going in that same direction to achieve it. You can't have, you know, people working at odds with it. And generally, you know, when I set the plan and, you know, roll it out for folks, and happily, most people are, well, our team is totally all about like, let's go get it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the other crazy thing too. It's like we have some viciously committed people inside of Coffin Comics.
Yeah. Well, Brian, that you've inspired so many people, and you really seem to carry. I mean, you carry it. I mean, again, you're the, you know, Francisca's the president. You know, you're the creative head of it. You know, you're the one that it started with back in the late '80s when you were picking up, you know, Evil Ernie. You've been doing this. You inspire this amazing team who, like, you guys are like a family now, and I love them too. So giving, so personal. Every campaign we get, there's a little note. You know what I mean? And I love it. But here's everyone. You psych everyone up. Everyone's getting ready. Yes, we launch tomorrow, right? Maybe, you know, this one's going to be a test, like you said. You're trying new things. You're getting a little crazy. But at that moment when it's just Brian Pulido by himself, when you take a walk outside, right, of the office, right, and you're going to launch in a few hours. Now, it's been, what, 7 years?
That was 5. That one is 5.5 years ago.
5.5 years ago. And how many campaigns? 16?
20. Well, no, 21.
21 campaigns. Is there still that small moment of doubt within you?
Are you kidding? I am with doubt. I got this look, right? Like, all like, but look, I'm going to be honest. I'm honest with people. It's like, look, I wrestle with anxiety. You know, it's regulated. I have behavioral modification therapy, but about 10 days leading up to Kickstarter, I'm a wreck. I'm sorry to say. I'm a wreck. It sucks. It's really I think the key though is it doesn't stop me. So I just kind of work through it and just keep going. I think one thing that comics have taught me is that nothing's a done deal. You can't take anything for granted. So I don't operate like that. So I feel like in comics, what it's taught me is I got to earn every meal. Today's ego trip. Let's see, today's win is tomorrow's ego trip. So you just gotta, regulate and just keep going. So before a Kickstarter launch, particularly the day of, I don't put too much work on my plate because my efficiency sucks because I'm obsessed. When we launch, of course, like I'm looking, and it's strange because it'll hit certain marks. And what I'm getting out of is relief. Everyone's partying, and I'm just like, I'm relieved. It takes a little while for me to finally go, woo. But I'm being honest with you. I guess I could pretend I'm cool about it, but I'm actually, a ball of nerves, probably like most people.
Now, for people, for some viewers out there that are watching this live on YouTube, Facebook, may watch this record. I mean, if they've never backed, one of your campaigns, I mean, one thing to know, and I want to make it clear, is you're not just backing a book, you're actually backing an immersive experience because you've built a true comic book universe, this whole separate world, and kind of your stories, kind of tie into everything ties in together. But not only that, you plan actual events, and you bring the creators of the books together, like conventions. You party with the backers, you party with the fans, you hang out, you let them come to the studio, you let them come to Coffin Comics. You've actually created an entire ecosystem that's just immersive, and you are truly a part of it if you want to join, which I think is incredibly unique.
Thank you.
And no DC, Marvel, you could say, oh, they do these things, they do that, but this is different. Like, you guys are the creators, like you are the heart of Coffin Comics, you are Lady Death, and you're there for the fans, literally. How did that even come to be?
I don't know. I mean, at a certain point, I have to tell you guys too that I just am led by my own personal passions. I've been pretty lucky, I guess. I actually don't know. It all just seems to make sense to me. Like, I'm a fan of music, and I love to go see concerts, and I'll follow bands from when they're like, they have three fans to 1 million fans. I guess I like that world and that type of interaction. And I've always, I get a real charge out of meeting and connecting with people. I mean, a very, very small example, or not a small example, but an example was last year I'm next to Billy at New York Comic Con. And we reconnect with a gal named Esmeralda Garcia. And the cool thing about reconnecting with Esmeralda was I had seen her when she was barely like a baby, when we all signed at a comic book convention at a church. So just connecting and reconnecting, it really is quite pleasurable, because I think the overwhelming majority of the people who connect with our material are just super cool. I mean, very, very cool. They get it. They totally get it. Like, sometimes people on the outside of the Coffin experience, they look at it. The imagery is super intense. It's exaggerated. We all look like comic book versions of bikers, but the people who really get it see inside that, and they really know that we're just simple people making our comics, having a good time, love to party. I believe, like, my whole thing is like work like a captain and party like a pirate. So if people who like that, are just simply welcome to join.
Yeah. Now, do your fans ever reach out? Do you guys ever take I don't want to say fan advice, but do they ever point out things like, hey, you should do a story like this, or hey, you should incorporate this? Do you guys ever get emails from fans on things? Do you ever take any fans' input when developing any of these books that you're putting out?
Well, I mean, we get incessant suggestions all the time. So, and that's perfectly fine. Now, this is probably the one place where I'm the outlaw, is like, please do not tell me how to do my story. It's like, that's probably like the one area. Please don't tell me how to do the story. We got it, because we have it mapped out for years anyway. But we do get a lot. I mean, even today, there's a lot of things like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, or hey, wouldn't it be cool if, wouldn't that be neat if you do that, or you do this? So we get that all the time. I mean, one thing I always try to remind people is our core competency is we are a comic book publisher. People are telling us, you should make this movie. And it's, hey, man, if it was up to me, we would have made a movie 20 years ago. But it just takes a lot of money and a different thing. But I'd like to think that Coffin is highly interactive, and we definitely hear from people. I do think the provenance, here's where, like, I'm attitudinal. The provenance of being the art director for Coffin Comics, I'm very selective in the talent that I work with. I'm an affable person, But in terms of being the editor, I have a degree of ruthlessness for sure. I have a certain look that I like, and I love people who have really established a craft through hard work. So I believe craftsmanship should be rewarded. In terms of stories, respectfully, I'm not looking for anyone's story ideas, because probably like Billy knows, I'm like 10 years behind my own stories. So I do get that. I'll get that. Hey, I got a story for you. I'm like, man, I got to tell you, you write that story down and go publish it yourself. And that's your future. For me, I'm 10 years behind my own stories.
Yep. Yeah. And it's tough too, because, people do that all the time. And I'm, even when, and you're good at this though, like people come to you, and it's really cool though, but like they'll come to you with art. Like, I want to do a cover for you. And you're like, well, I'm already kind of booked my covers all the way into, July 2021 with me, or I want to, here's some coloring samples. And I'm like, kind of my colorist already, but yeah, let me take a look at it, and it's kind of, I'm just wondering what's a nice way to ease out of that.
I think, being gentle,
like,
just being gentle and straightforward with folks. That's usually what I say to folks. I'm always happy to look at new talent, and by my own internal mechanism, I'll definitely give 1 to 3 new talent a shot at a cover. But I will say this, and I say this respectfully, that those 3 covers require more effort than 100 other covers I publish by established professionals. So I'm being a bit snooty there, but it requires a lot, because maybe that person who's getting a break, their professional game is not completely refined. They don't know it. They may be having, sometimes with a young artist, there'll be 1 or 2 images that are super strong. They'll be shopping those around in their portfolio, but underneath it are 70 that aren't there yet. So again, I'm very big on the idea that a given talent has done a ton of work already. Because I remember for myself, I thought I was ready right out of the box, but it took me 5 years for a break. And truthfully, I really wasn't ready, So, but I thought I was. So, I mean, my advice on, like, when I do see work, the first thing I do is I ask a person, what's your expectation of me when you show me this work? And the reason I say that was because of a story many, many years ago. Stephen Hughes and I were doing an in-store in New Jersey. And this guy comes up with a portfolio. So he lays it down and he opens it, and I start pontificating. And I'm being gentle, but constructive criticism, but critical. And at one point, Hughes knocks me on the shoulder, and he says, and I look up, and the guy looks like the guy is angry. The guy's like he's going to punch me in the face. And I said, I'm sorry, man. What's up? He's like, I just wanted a job. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I apologize. I should have asked you, when you show me your work, what is your expectation of me?
Yeah.
And so, and then I was like, respectfully, I couldn't hire you, not ready for my perspective. And it's no disrespect. The thing about comics, though, is it really is a craft. And if you're persistent and you care and you're dedicated and you put in time, you will get there. That's the game. It's not magic. It's a craft. It's like, it's just like if you're laying brick or trying to learn to be a mechanic. It's you put in you have talent, but if you put in the hours, you will achieve the craftsmanship.
Yep. And another thing too is that, like, with artists, it's a lot easier because, like, someone like you, Brian, could see a new artist with their fresh portfolio, then you could see their work, and if, like, you could see the level of the work they're at. Writers, it's a different story, but if you've proven anything, what you've proven is that write your own damn story. Right? You should write this. Write your own story. Publish your own comic.
Yeah. Well, obviously that is my message. But understand that if you're going to lay down the gauntlet and say, I want to tell my story, just understand what it's going to take. Yeah. So in this day and age, like, I'm perfectly willing, you're perfectly willing, to build a company around the idea of, I want to tell my story. There are some people they're very great storytellers, and linking up with a publisher is probably the right thing for them, or another outfit that could fill in some of the gaps that they would be missing. But again, I do all this stuff because this all kind of makes sense to me. Like, I've run I have the relationships out there, and I run scenarios, as we probably all do. And it's like, well, what if, like, this other entity did the work? I just see all these instantaneous gaps. There's no way you know, so for better or for worse, you know, it's on me. And I guess that's another thing I'm fine with, because I mean, I'm 58 years old, almost 59. That puts me like at the tail end of the boomer generation. And guys, I come from some working class, hardworking stock people. And it's not even my choice. I got it in my blood. I'm going to wake up and do something. So it might as well be constructive anyway.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I'm looking at the comments.
You've got that hard hat lunch pail attitude, and that's what makes you so great.
Thank you, dude. Well, I'll tell you one thing. This is what I do say is I work every day like I am dirt poor. So that's how I work. I was communicating with Mike McLean earlier, my co-writer on all of our Coffin Comics projects. And, you know, I said, it's sort of a flaw because like, there's no real time of dying. That's awesome. I don't relax much, you know, honestly. It's like work and then rest.
You know, Brian, I love, if I could throw that back up again, time of dying. What I love about your sworn nation, right? Your legion, whatever. I like to call it a legion. You see what time of dying said right here? We're really close to 238K. We are. It's not Brian is. It's not Coffin is. It's not Lady Death. It's we are. We're on the verge of this. We can do this. We can outsell this. We can do that. Look what we're doing. And I love it that you have, you know, that army, that giant family of yours. It's just so great. It's inspiring. And it's
thank you.
How you guys are with your customer service, the whole thing.
I looked at let's take the band Metallica as an example. I look at James Hetfield as a frontman, and I actually think he's one of the best frontmen in the world. And if you look at his presentation of himself, it's not about him. It really is about the audience. He is the reflection. Now, there are certain artists, and I love them for like Kiss. You know, it's sort of about Kiss. I love them also, but I really admire a lot of those working kind of class acts. And Hetfield is a real inspiration because I don't ever watch Metallica and think Hetfield's trying to be a star on me. I don't. I think that I'm like, Hetfield is a reflection of us. I mean, he really lets us enjoy Metallica through him. And, you know, clearly it's sort of like, you know, they're working it out. They're getting it done. So, it's, I actually don't think, I understand it's a parallel. Coffin is about me. It's not about me. So it's interesting. There you go. The troopers feel the same way. That's it.
I just dig it. And it is like that passion. And I love how they root for you. You know, it's
amazing. It's just it really is a blessing. I'm not a particularly religious or spiritual person, but I do feel that it is a blessing.
Yeah. I just love that you also, though, how you were saying, you know, everyone talks about you. When they talk about crowdfunding, they talk about you. They'll talk about Doug TenNapel. They'll talk about Ethan Van Sciver. You know, John Malin is crushing.
Let me interject one side though. You know, there's how you have the differences of the groups and stuff of people that are crowdfunding, but Brian is the neutral name of inspiration, no matter if it's Kickstarter side or Indiegogo side. And I'll just say that you are the neutral inspiration for crowdfunding.
That's awesome. I'm happy. I mean, if I can prove that it can be done through hard work and effort, I'm happy. I'm happy about that. It's cool. I mean, the neat thing too is, for better or for worse, like I personally probably roll like lone wolf style. So that's why we're kind of like Island Coffin Comics. There's no agenda to it. That's just kind of our trip. So
You've always been like that, getting thrown out of your booth at San Diego. People sing God Bless America, and like 200 people following you singing that because they're trying to shut you down with your lights and everything.
That's right. I get it in my mind that like something's got to be a certain way. That's it. It's like, watch out. Like you and I in the 90s were so ridiculous with San Diego. It's so funny now. You and I are both Inkpot award recipients.
I know.
And I feel like an elder statesman, and I'm so proud of that thing. I don't even know what it means, really. But I'm like so proud of it. And yet 20 years prior, we're getting kicked out. We're starting fights. I
got nominated for Eisner's, and like Peter Gutierrez, the writer or the editor of Senryaku, showed up and we didn't. And then they had a table for us and he was pissed. He's like, he's the only one. I'm like, well, I don't want any awards, man. I'm here to, rock and roll and, make comic books and kick ass, and have some fun in the bar,
Yeah, that's right.
I think they got pissed off at us because we were outlaws, and I love it, man. I love being an outlaw.
Well, what's neat too is it proves it can be done.
Yeah.
Like really, when I decided to get back into this game about 5.5, 6 years ago, and I kind of looked at the whole tapestry of how comic books reach people, I said, if my household, the people who work with me, by extension, all the talent work with us, if we want to have an actual living where we're not struggling, we just got to go right to the people. The whole story. So it was an experiment. It was a play. It was a risk. But up until this moment, it seems to be working out, and we're very grateful. It's truly remarkable. It's fun. Like today, we're only seeing a little piece of HQ, but it's amazing that we have HQ. It's crazy.
Well, it's grown, man. The way it's grown is incredible.
It's crazy.
And what's also cool too is that you started to. I know we had Dan Mendoza on.
Mm-hmm.
You're actually fulfilling other people's campaigns now.
Yeah, we do. So we already are fulfilling half a dozen creators' campaigns, and we just integrate them right into the Coffin system. We support them in choices on printing, strategies, timing. It's super simple, and it just gets people right into the channel. Yeah, right now I think we're doing Dan's right now, Monty Moore next week as an example. We have Chad Hardin.
Nice.
We're talking to some other creators that you may or may not know.
Yeah, and I was talking to Chad a few weeks ago about that very same thing. So
yeah, very excited about it, and it's great because this is exactly what we're orientated for. This is what we do morning, noon, and night. Handle delicately these things that we all adore so much.
Yeah, and thanks for the super chat, Timothy W. Haskins. Hughes, in my mind, drew the iconic Lady Death, though Coffin has some amazing artists illustrating her.
Rest in peace, Stephen Hughes. It was such a miraculous time. There's so much I could say about my creative relationship with Stephen that it'll never do it justice. But I liken my relationship with Steve. It was sort of like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, but he got to be Keith Richards. And anyone who knew him knew he was super cool, loved fans, phenomenal to fans. He was a fun collaborator because we were on the same page on so many things. And then we had so many fun, all-in constructive arguments about stuff. I mean, he loved comics the way I loved comics. So it was that relationship, that creative relationship, which lasted for 9 years. It was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I cherish it. And I don't think anyone, no matter what anyone knows, no one really knows just how special it was. And his loss was a real derailment in a lot of ways. It was, it's still like I'm present right now. The sadness of it, and just gone far too soon. Rest in peace, Stephen Hughes. Stephen Hughes is the man.
Yeah, indeed.
For sure.
Indeed.
And Time of Dying says, of course, nothing will top Hughes, but Diego Bernard has been the best artist to draw Lady Death interiors since him.
Well, there you have it. Time of Dying throwing down, saying, you're even like discounting Ivan Heiss, as you guys probably know him as Ivan Reis. Yeah. Diego's a miracle. Let me tell you. Like today, he and I are working on Lady Death, chapter 13, which is named Cataclysmic Majesty.
The greatest titles ever.
I love him.
Cataclysmic Majesty. But it really evokes what the story's about. But he's on page 17, and we're going back and forth and on a couple of new characters. He's so much fun to work with. And he's a machine. So he's like just like us. Like we're like crank. Like Diego, we'll get a script in. And if Mike McLean's still on there, we know we only have like 10 weeks maybe till the next one's due. And since our stories are like, 48 to 56 pages, it's like, quick. Diego's up. I'll tell him. Diego's on 17. He's coming. Yeah. The next script is definitely due. I think it's now 8 weeks. So it's like, we're in it. So we're.
I love it, man. Yeah. Because some guys are doing what I love about you is, and you've inspired me, and this is my plan as well, is to be just like we were, when we're regularly publishing. We're publishers. We may be boutique publishers in the eyes of some, but we're independent outlaw publishers, and we do multiple books a year. Some other people, a lot of other creators, they approach it with that European model. Look at what Ethan's doing. Ethan's doing like one book a year with the Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I think that's really, I mean, same thing with Doug. I think that's completely valid as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that's interesting and the thing that I noticed years ago was that we're all now a little older. And I looked at Stephen King's career because, you know, there's conventional wisdom in comics that say you should do the monthly format, you should do this, you should do that. But this was my bet. I looked at recording artists. I look at authors, particularly Stephen King. Yeah. And Stephen King, there's this premise called the constant reader. You know, by his own admission, he writes afterwards in his books, and they're addressed to the constant reader. And so the bet that I was hedging was that as I am older, I think my reader base is a little older, and if I choose to only put out 1 to 4 things a year, they would show up. Now, that is completely against conventional wisdom. And I've actually had the conversation with Doug about that frequency of 1 a year. I think it's spot on because I believe that a lot of our readership can get used to that rhythm. Yeah. As long as it has a rhythm and as long as you're telling people what it's going to be, I think people will show up. The whole idea of chasing down the monthly, if that really worked, Marvel and DC wouldn't be rebooting their universe every 6 months.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I actually would assert that if I was in charge of either company, and I wouldn't want to be, I think the game is just stick with those legacy numbers and just keep going. Because creators like Robert Kirkman proved that it could work. Yeah. Try to keep the creators consistent and on for a long period of time and stop jumping around and stop trying to reboot and restart. A lot of us, the constant readers, like me, I'm a constant reader of Marvel. I know I should stop reading these. I've been reading them for 45 years, but I believe that what I've always adored was the longer runs of a creative team, whether it's like Roger Stern and John Byrne on Captain America, Simonson on Thor. You know, we all know the stories. Even Bendis had a nice run on Avengers. Like when they stay, that's where you get in there and get to luxuriate. I could be wrong, but I just think a lot of these young college-age marketing people think you got to switch it.
I think it's too much 80.
They're chasing. They're chasing an image, unfortunately, instead of just trying to continue on with a story or something.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
I mean, our creative team for La Muerta, they've been on that book for 5.5 years. People couldn't be happier. And, you know, and they're still on. They're working on chapter 7 right now for May of next year. So I think that people are willing to grow with us if we're willing to stick it out. All right, Paul, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's different.
One thing we got to check out, though, and I have to get back to the campaign because I love them, is I got to see the campaign video. Yeah. So I'm going to bring it up here, and we're going to watch the campaign video.
Full screen.
Hey, Troy, how you doing, Troy? Hey, everybody, it's Brian Pulido, creator of Lady Death and publisher of Coffin Comics. And we are back to present an all-new 48-page original graphic novel, the most evil Lady Death story we have ever published, entitled Lady Death, Treacherous Infamy. Giving into her sinister appetites, Lady Death has resumed a long-forgotten obsession, the extinction of humanity. To satisfy her bloodlust, she enslaves the innocent Johnny Devlin and unleashes a demonic power hidden within his soul. Together with the aid of the seductive voodoo queen, Madame Midnight, they raise an unholy undead horde. Soon, New Orleans' raucous Mardi Gras parade gets some very deadly party crashers. But the annihilation of New Orleans will quench her thirst for bloody chaos. With the very world at stake, a desperate race against time commences, as the avenging vigilante La Muerta and a mysterious devil hunter Mujai fight to protect the innocent. But is it too late? Has wickedness forever corrupted our avenging warrior witch? Meanwhile, in a dark corner of the world, horrible evil has risen, spreading madness and savagery in its wake. Searching for his dead brides, Insurrectus threatens to amass a terrifying power to rival anything the world has ever seen. Helping me bring this next diabolical chapter to life is co-writer Mike McLean, illustrator Diego Bernard, colorist CC De La Cruz, and veteran letterer Marshall Dillon. And here's the thing, folks, these projects are done. All we got to do is print, but there's no doubt we need your help to bring evil Lady Death to life. So please pledge now, pledge often, tell your friends, of course, tell your enemies. Thank you so much, everybody. It is because of you that Coffin Comics
Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane. I love their videos.
Your videos
man.
get better every time too.
Every time. Every
Triple
time.
Lady
I
Death
purposely
and La
waited.
Moretta, too.
I waited to watch that video just now. I didn't watch it ahead of time. Normally, I always check out everything. I was like, I'm going to watch this for the first time.
There is no doubt what we're about when you see that.
Yeah, and you got 2 new backers, so now you've broke it. You broke the 238 mark.
Nice.
238.
Yeah, 238. Congratulations in a day.
10 away.
A day and a half.
10 away
That's
from
crazy.
1,500. That's just fantastic. And I mean, guys, anyone out there, please just go to the links in the description of the show. We've been sharing it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, go and check this out for yourself. I mean, if you want to start from the beginning, you can. If you want to pick up just at this campaign, you can. I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, for me to scroll through is just incredible. If you watch where my scroll right here, see where I am right now, and I'm still look at me scrolling. It's barely moving. I mean, so many goodies, so many.
I mean, I take the attitude that we're only on 2 new Lady Death stories a year, so we're just gonna put everything out.
I mean, absolutely incredible.
Oh,
those hoodies are sick.
Yeah, they are.
What? Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Are those
like
zip
that.
ups?
They're zip ups.
Oh,
Are you
perfect.
pullover or zip up?
Zip up.
I'm a zip up for sure.
I like the
Yeah, I
zip
like
up.
a zip up. No, I don't know.
It depends on my mood, Billy.
It depends on the mood.
Depends on how I'm feeling that day.
All right, Brian, we've had you on for over an hour, right?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Now we have Treacherous Infamy, right? But as you said, there's 2 new Lady Death stories every year.
Yes,
So
sir.
What's next for Coffin Comics?
Well, I'll tell you. Here's the thing. Next, September 24th, 25th, 26th, Coffin Comics Crucial Con online. Now, Coffin Comics adapted very quickly. In March, did Coffin Comics Con online when Emerald City Comic Con was canceled, and we had a blast. And what I can tell you is, out of that, true story, out of that, my best friend since I was 12 audited what we did, went and made a business out of online event management, and now has clients including Coca-Cola and like all these events. So anyway, we are now going to apply what we've learned in the interim to this event, Crucial Con. Why would we call it crucial? We call it crucial because we're going to be revealing secrets about the Coffin Comics 2021 publishing schedule. That's why we're calling it crucial. Great. We're going to have our licensees who are making, like Winston Dunlop, who's making action figures, going to do some reveals. Our guy Winston.
Yeah, oh boy.
Quarantine Studios doing our statues. We're going to have and all kinds of content. So as we usually like to say, expect the unexpected. Although until now, people now do expect the unexpected. So don't expect the unexpected. Expect it'll be unexpected.
You're always one step ahead of the game, old chum.
You know, it's fun because even now, as you and I speak, we're working on marketing programs into next year. We're all yeah, we're not working on next week. We're working on next year. I mean,
absolutely,
we're working on comic books for August of next year, marketing plans, the whole thing. It's a lot of fun. I think that's one of the cooler things about comics is to be able to do all these kind of fun reveals. Yeah. I always like that as a fan of comics too. It's like, you turn the page, to be able to do that is just so much fun. So especially for people, whether they're the collectors or the readers, but I digress.
You're a champ. Man. You're a beast.
Fantastic.
You guys are so awesome. My head is swelling.
This is great. So, I don't know, Nile. I mean, man.
I'll tell you what I need right now. I need that helicopter sweep right now. I need Jimmy Coffin in with that camera, panning through all those goodies behind you before we take off.
We need you to do a master pan of this whole thing. That's what's going to happen.
Come here.
Jimmy was like,
too. Hang on.
Here we go. We're going to start. You can even start with those cool. These are the sculptured editions that we just revealed.
So awesome.
And then these are the mystery envelope swimsuits. And then in the background, we have some of our main editions, some of the prints that we're offering. Artists include Kenneth Rocafort.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Reed, Sun K, Shannon Mayer, Richard Ortiz, Walter Simonson. Yeah, and right here, we do offer these on our campaign, all of our previous editions.
Yes.
We call these the premiere format, and that way you could sort of get, you could get current. I'll give you a nice shot of that. So all the previous editions.
I think your next level camera, Jimmy Coffin, your next level camera needs to be one of those 3D cameras. So while you're talking live, the viewers can pan and look at all the stuff.
Shut the front door.
I'm telling you.
You just gave us an idea, so that may very well happen. So yeah, here's the setup for today.
Amazing.
These like short boxes really come in handy. That way we're kind of at the right level.
Definitely. Fantastic, guys. Well, I have to say, Brian, as always, you're a class act. Amazing campaign, inspirational in its own right. And I'm just looking for the book because in that video, man, seeing those characters, I got to see the story, dude. I need this story.
Hey, Deb, how you doing?
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. You kids go have a nice, fun birthday celebration.
You too, brother. Oh, look, I got Una here. Everybody, look, here's
Una. Look, it's Una.
Hey.
Our
Where'd
tripod.
you go?
The three-legged wonder dog.
Come here, Una.
Hey.
Fine, Una.
So cute.
Got a spanner over here. There she is. Una. Oh, look at it. Sit and see. With
Nice.
Good girls. Hello. Nothing? Sorry.
It's all right.
Miracle dog.
So no worries.
Guys, Brian, this is wonderful. If you could stick around for a second, I just
Talk to you about something that I think the fans would love if you could make it and join.
Okay.
And then I look forward to seeing you, of course, Brian, Tuesday. We have a big meeting with you and Francisca and Deborah and I. I can't wait for that. Big thing afoot. And I'm just so happy for you. I can't tell you how happy I am for you. I love being part of, being hashtag sworn. 94, or technically since 93, because you were the first
since
pro.
93, man.
I didn't even know if you were a pro then, but you were the first comic creator that actually respected you any respect, and that was great. So,
well, I appreciate you guys, and Billy, what I love is your lack of cynicism and that you're really welcoming. I mean, dude, you and I are like way past all that stuff. Like, we're,
ain't nobody got time for that.
Miotti one time, not too long ago, whatever, you came up, of course. And, what I always say is like, you can't choose, you can't pick who you love, and I just love this guy. So what can I say?
Well, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Please, if you guys can, if you've already backed Lady Death Treacherous Infamy, then share it. If you haven't checked that out, I mean, you're talking one of the premier comic creators of the 20th and 21st century.
I gotta say this.
And his team, what a team. I mean, you're already almost at 238,500 now.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys and gals out there. Thank you for this opportunity, guys. I'd also like to thank the Coffin crew, and by extension, Coffin team of creators, but of course the Sworn, because without the Sworn, we are absolutely nothing. Now, if you've backed our campaign, thank you, you maniac. But if you haven't, I cordially invite you to back the Lady Death Treacherous Infamy campaign tonight, because after all, it's payday and you deserve it. So just go to Kickstarter, in the search, write Lady Death Tretch, and you're off to the races. I do cordially invite you to do that. Thank you so much. Also, to all the folks who've been doing the comments, it's good to see Troy, Time of Dying. I agree. Sun K is really knocking it out of the park, and you love what she has coming up in the next 6 months with Coffin Comics. Thank you, Sworn Nation. You guys are great.
I think that's the one I got too. I think I got the heavy metal homage one. I think that's the one I got. Yeah.
That's good. That's a really fun book. The trade dresses on each of those things. So cool. Thank you.
Well, all right, guys. Thank you all. Everyone have a great weekend. Like I
You
said,
too.
check out Brian Pulido. Check out Lady Death. Hey, Brian, talking to Dan Fraga, and he's got, I don't know, do you have a Coffin Comics app?
Not yet.
Okay, because I'm going to put you in touch with him because he's got an app thing going.
Oh, he's got app
You
building?
can have your own app that goes right to the store and everything like that. It looks wild. I'll forward that. I'll talk to you about that when I talk to you next week.
That sounds great.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Everyone.
Thanks so much, everybody. Talk soon.
You got it.
I hope everyone enjoyed their happy hour. Drive home safe. Make sure to close your tab out. And we will see you all next time. Cheers, everyone. Thank you, Brian. And make sure to support Lady Death Treacherous Infamy #1. Hey everyone. Thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you soon.